Good afternoon, and thank you all for coming to the Town of Plymouth so we can talk about some really great grant awards through the Coastal Zone Management Program. Before we begin, I'd like to recognize some of our folks from our state delegation. Representative Muratori is here. I'm scanning. Where is he? Where is Mr. Muratori? Where is he? Oh, there he is. All right. And the Representative Lenatra is here as well. Thank you both for coming. Senator Moran is not able to join us, but Senator Moran, Rep. Lenatra, and Rep. Muratori have done so much for the Town of Plymouth over the years, and this is just another great example of their activities and really thinking about the Town of Plymouth and helping us secure these types of funds. I'd like to recognize Secretary Bethany Card, who's here as well, and Director Lisa Engler, the Director of Coastal Zone Management as well. Thank you all for coming. So I want to start by thanking the Baker-Polito Administration for this generous $2 million grant to the Town of Plymouth, which is going to help us renourish a section of Long Beach. And thank, again, the Director of Coastal Management, Lisa Engler, for your ongoing collaboration and support over the years with previous nourishment work, revetment repairs, and seawall replacement throughout the many years. So again, thank you so much for the support to the Town of Plymouth. For those of you that don't know, this $2 million grant award will support the sediment nourishment of approximately 140,000 square feet of erosion at our Long Beach. This is a section that has sustained significant erosion over the last 5 years. This new grant award is one of the most important coastal resiliency projects the town has undertaken to protect habitat and recreational activities and to protect the storm damage in downtown Plymouth. Our previous nourishment project was highly successful and most certainly prevented a breach of the beach from coastal storms. It is anticipated that this $2 million grant award will significantly bolster these ongoing efforts to preserve and protect our beaches. One thing important to note, that this grant award today is one of our Select Board's goals and priorities. So the Select Board this past year identified a number of goals and priorities, and this one in particular supports one of our goals of protecting our environment. So it's great to see our collective goals have come to fruition through a project like this. And before I end, I'd like to thank David Gould, our Director of Environmental Affairs, who's here today, Karen McCall, one of our environmental technicians, and Tiffany Park, our grant writer. The three of them collectively came together, identified this as a significant need here in the community, and wrote the application to bring this money here to town this afternoon. Without further ado, I would like to introduce Director of Coastal Zone Management, Lisa Berry Engler. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Derek. Hi, everyone. What a great day, huh? It's not too hot. Yesterday would have been too hot to have this event, and then it's going to rain later, so we got the perfect window of time for this. Thanks again for coming out. We at the Office of Coastal Zone Management and the Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs are so very excited to be here along Plymouth Harbor with all of you to celebrate Climate Week. Did you all know it was Climate Week? Now you know, Climate Week. And to announce these 27 new Coastal Resilience Grant Awards from my office. This is our 10th and largest round of funding for these types of projects that address erosion, flooding, and sea level rise within our local communities. I also want to just say thank you to the Town of Plymouth. Thank you to Derek and DCR for hosting us here. I have not been to this exact spot along Plymouth Harbor before, and it's certainly a beautiful location and perfect because we can see where our money and this grant will go and what it will help support here right now, right out there. So thank you to all the grant recipients and the partners, as I said. We're really looking forward to working with you. And before I steal any more of her thunder, I'm going to pass it over to Secretary Beth Card.
Thank you so much, Lisa, and thank you for everyone who came out to join us today to celebrate Climate Week. What a beautiful and inspirational spot to be here outside as we think about all that we're doing to celebrate and highlight the progress that we've made in Massachusetts to invest in resiliency and mitigation and adaptation as it relates to climate impacts on all of us here in the Commonwealth. On behalf of Governor Baker and Lieutenant Governor Polito, I'm thrilled to be here to announce the awarding of $12.6 million in coastal resiliency grants to support local efforts to address climate change impacts. Each year, Massachusetts coastal cities and towns experience storm impacts on essential facilities, on our infrastructure and natural resources, and we need to protect and invest in these places that make these communities such wonderful places to live and to visit. Climate change and sea level rise acceleration are making managing these impacts more challenging, and to help address these issues, we are committed to building more resilient communities that are better prepared for coastal storms now and well into the future. We are so fortunate to have so many local partners, as well as to have partners in the legislature on these essential grant programs. It's key to our success. So things that support these coastal resiliency grants, as well as the Municipal Vulnerability Preparedness Program. The MVP program is something that we also are celebrating. And in addition to these coastal resiliency grants, the MVP program in the 5 years that the Baker-Polito administration has been administering them have grown to over $100 million, and 97% of communities in Massachusetts are participating in this MVP program. And we're so proud that work continues to happen and that we continue to make those investments. And we'll keep working to get those last handful of communities on board in the program in the time that we have. Today, we are focused on advancing local priorities for addressing coastal climate change impacts and all the work and celebrating all the work of our Coastal Zone Management Office. Through these grants, communities and nonprofit organizations will receive financial and technical assistance to advance efforts to increase awareness of climate impacts, identify vulnerabilities, and implement measures to increase community resilience, including nature-based approaches to mitigating erosion and flooding. This year, we are supporting 27 projects that will advance a broad range of programs and efforts, bringing the total investment under this administration to more than $35 million. We're just thrilled to have had the chance since 2015 to support 182 projects in 54 coastal cities and towns. Additionally, thank you. It's a big accomplishment. Additionally, more than $13 million in local matching funds and in-kind assistance has been committed to these critical projects, like the one that we're talking about here in Plymouth. Other projects receiving grants today include a number of environmental justice neighborhoods and communities. This is a priority. We want to make sure that as we continue to make these investments in our coastal communities and our infrastructure, that we're focusing attention on environmental justice and communities of need, and that has been a priority as we've, in this grant round of supporting investments in these neighborhoods in Boston, Brewster, Provincetown, Salem, and others across Massachusetts. Providing support to these most vulnerable residents is an important focus of this grant program at EEA, and will continue to make that a priority in the work that we have going forward. I'd like to just also note that we really value the partnership with our local communities, local government, local elected officials. The work that you do is hard and it's challenging, and it is so valued. And I'm thrilled that on behalf of our team, we have a chance to work so closely with you as we make decisions about how we best invest in our communities going forward. And we appreciate your work as we do the work of all of the groups and associations and our federal partners as well. It takes all of us to make this commitment as we work to invest in mitigation efforts as well as resiliency efforts across the Commonwealth, and thrilled to be here to be part of the announcement of these coastal zone management resiliency grants and projects here today, and what a spot to do it. So I want to thank you for having me, and congratulations to all of the award winners across our coastal communities who are receiving funding this time around. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Secretary. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for supporting the CZM Coastal Resilience Grant Program. As we've said, it's really great to be here to showcase these grants and really bring it down to the local level and see where the impacts of this funding and these grants go. So today, the Town of Plymouth is receiving their 5th Coastal Resilience Grant in the amount of $2 million. That's our largest award in the history of this grant program. The funds will construct a nourishment project on Long Beach, which, as I said, is across the harbor from where we're standing. The nourishment of 4/10 of a mile of beach and dune will help the barrier beach system protect homes, businesses, infrastructure, and cultural resources along the barrier beach, as well as protecting those areas inland of the barrier beach, like where we're standing now. Plymouth's Department of Marine and Environmental Resources, under the direction of David Gould, hey David, has been a wonderful partner, and we would like to acknowledge their commitment to shoreline restoration, to manage coastal storm impacts, and preserve public access and shorebird habitat. Another really critical partner in the region with a similar mission and similar success with our grant program is Chris Latazzi, the Executive Director of the Duxbury Beach Reservation. The Duxbury Beach Reservation is receiving their 7th award, and this award this year is for $1.8 million, our second largest award. And that will support beach and dune nourishment along a half a mile of Duxbury Beach, and it will have similar implication in terms of protecting the barrier beach itself and then the mainland behind it. So we're really thrilled to have been able to support the planning, the design, the permitting, and now the implementation of these projects. That's what's so really great about these projects, and that's what gets me so excited, is that we can take a project from somebody's idea in their brain, in their head. You know, they woke up in the morning and they're like, yes, this is a great idea. We can take it from that all the way to construction, all the way to implementation, to realization, and that is awesome. That is truly awesome. But as the Secretary said, it takes a whole lot of partnerships, takes a whole lot of effort, takes time and commitment, and I really want to say thank you for all that. And thank you specifically to Duxbury Beach Reservation here today and the Town of Plymouth for the commitment to really see these projects through. So we are very proud to be part of this, of these projects. Thank you for letting us in and helping support your projects. So with that, I'm going to, I just want to say thank you to our legislators, not only the ones that are here with us today, but the ones who aren't here with us today that help make this grant program happen. And then I want to also ask if we have any legislators that would like to come up and speak.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Representative Josh Cutler. I have the honor of representing the 6th Plymouth District, which includes the towns of Duxbury, Marshfield, Pembroke, Hanson, and Halifax. Delighted to be here with you as your neighbor. I can see our district from here. You have a great, fantastic team here in Plymouth. Proud to work with Representative Matt Muratori, Representative Kathy Lenatra, and Senator Sue Moran. A great team. We really work very well together, and I'm delighted to have you here. I don't know why I was the one who was chosen to come up here, but they're great. They do a great job for you all, so thank you, and thanks for being here. Just very briefly, wanted to thank a number of folks. Number one, this money comes through the legislature, so I want to thank our colleagues in the legislature for authorizing the funding for these programs. Speaker Mariano, Senate President Spilka, we're grateful for their strong support for these coastal resilience programs. Really grateful to the Baker-Polito Administration, which has been such a strong partner in a bipartisan way, working with us on coastal resilience programs. We know how important it is. We live here on the South Shore at the ground level of this, and so it's so vital, and these funds will be such an important resource to us. I live not too far from the beach in Duxbury, and we're really grateful. Number one, really grateful to Chris Latazzi and the great team at Duxbury Beach Reservation. I see some folks here from there, so congratulations, Chris, for a great grant award, and to all the team that I see here. We're so grateful for all the work, and we know a lot of work goes into applying for and following up on these grants, so thank you very much. I'm really grateful to Secretary Card And Director Engler, thank you. I know you've had a busy day giving out money to a lot of towns. Yeah, tiring. It's tiring. But we're really grateful to both of you and to your teams. I see many of your team here as well. Really grateful to all of you for all the work that goes into that. And so I didn't plan to come up here with a prop, but it just sort of, things kind of have a way of working out sometimes. And so Duxbury Beach Reservation recently had a silent charity auction to raise money because, of course, we leverage these funds that you give us with private fundraising and other types of fundraising to try to maximize our resources. And so I bid on, and I was the winning bidder in this great Duxbury Beach, I Love Duxbury Beach, original art by Sandy Sweetser, who anyone in Duxbury knows well. She's a local artist. And so, Secretary Card, could I have you come up for a moment? So regifting in its best sense is when you find a gift and you have a way to regift that. And so I wanted to regift this to you, Secretary Card. Hopefully you have room on your wall up in Boston, and hopefully you'll remember all of Duxbury anytime there's a grant award, but also just remember your fun visit to Duxbury and to Plymouth, of course, and just as a token of our appreciation for all that you do. We love Duxbury Beach, and we know you do too, so thank you very much.
Thank you. That's lovely. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rep. Cutler. So I mentioned earlier how the board this past year, they have a number of priorities and goals, and one of them was environmental protection. And so although we appreciate the $2 million we're receiving from the state today, the town, they really exemplify putting money where your mouth is. And they've had a department that has been focusing on this effort for well over a decade, right, David? And David's the Director of Marine and Environmental Affairs. But most recently, I wanted to call out the fact that the board hired a new climate resiliency planner to, again, continue these conversations. And Mark Real is here with us today, who just started this past summer. So, again, the town is committed to this level of work. But the person that has really set the tone, and David, this is your cue to start walking towards the stage, the person that has really set the tone in this community around climate action, coastal planning, is our Director of Marine and Environmental Affairs, David Gould.
For a few minutes there, I thought I was going to get away without coming up to the podium. I just want to say thank you to Coastal Zone Management for all the assistance that you've given us over the years. Rebecca, Jason, Julia, I see you all out there. Thank you so much for all your help on not just this grant, but multiple awards over the years to protect Long Beach. For those of you who aren't familiar, that beautiful barrier beach that you see across there is one of the treasure jewels of the town of Plymouth, both for recreation but also for natural habitat. It also is absolutely critical for protecting all of downtown Plymouth and the economic engine of this community, which I think sometimes is forgotten how important that is from a storm damage prevention. When it's really awful out there in the winter and the area that we're standing at is protected, you realize how important that barrier beach truly is. And so Karen and I, Karen McCall, the beach manager, and I can be out there in the springtime wondering how we're going to put the beach back together. And we certainly have thought about that the last few years. But knowing that this spring we're going to be able to put it back the way we want and do it right, because the state has provided us with these $2 million in funds, is absolutely critical and so very much appreciated. So thank you to everybody for helping us get this funding and making us be able to put that beach back together the way it should be, so it can provide recreation and habitat and also all the storm protection. So thank you to everyone for assisting the town of Plymouth.
Thanks so much, David. And now we're to our last and certainly not least speaker. We want to invite Chris Lutazzi to come up from the Duxbury Beach Reservation. Chris has been an incredible partner over the years, and we're really lucky to have her, and she's going to say a few words. Thanks.
Thank you, Secretary Card, Director Engler, Representative Cutler, my partner in crime from Plymouth. This CZM Coastal Resiliency Grant awarded to Duxbury Beach Reservation for dune and beach nourishment is a culmination of years of effort and really reflects the relationship, as I stare at Jason, between Duxbury Beach Reservation and the Massachusetts Office of Coastal Zone Management. As Director Engler said, 7 years. This project partnership started in 2016 with a grant for a coastal processes study with resiliency recommendations. Through 2021 with environmental impact submission, with all the design and permitting, and now to construction. This project is critical to Duxbury for so many ways. The nourishment is for both dune and beach. It's focused on one of the narrowest sections of the beach, which is less than 50 meters wide, and the area really takes the brunt of the prevailing northeast winds. Though I can recite the project specs and length, width, cubic yards, it should really not be seen as solely a site-specific project. Back in 1974, the founders of Duxbury Beach Reservation had the foresight to write a charter stating the reservation's purpose in part was to preserve Duxbury Beach in its natural state as a barrier beach for the protection of Duxbury, Kingston, and parts of Plymouth. The authors of the DBR charter were way ahead of their time when they wrote this as they were discussing regional embayment. More than 15 miles of highly developed shoreline and 18 square mile embayment rely on the integrity of Duxbury Beach for protection. It serves as a barrier to storm surge, direct wave energy, severely reducing the damaging effects of storms on the westward lying residential and commercial areas. Duxbury Beach Reservation has had a long and successful history of maintaining and restoring Duxbury Beach by employing nature-based solutions for coastal management. Though the term coastal resiliency is fairly new, the practice has been applied in Duxbury Beach for more than 2 decades, constructing cobble berms, devising planting solutions, and monitoring different patterns of grass instead of building seawalls and revetments. However, Duxbury Beach is still sediment-starved. Well-meaning decisions of past generations led to hard structures being erected, which have had detrimental impacts on the natural sediment transport processes. This not only impacts Duxbury Beach, but also creates a domino effect southward. Back in 2019, the reservation decided to submit for a CZM grant for nourishment. Letters of support, per usual, were encouraged. And when going through the list of folks I needed to call, I started with the easiest one. I don't know if you remember this, David, but it was to David Gould in Plymouth. And in my own unique style, rather than ask for a letter of support, I told David that in 20 plus years, he could be getting some sand from his northern neighbor, Duxbury Beach Reservation, and could he write a letter of support? Well, thankfully, David obliged, and CZM grant was awarded. This June, Duxbury Beach was recognized as one of America's best restored beaches by the American Shore and Beach Preservation for that very project. With Duxbury Beach Reservation working together with our neighbors in Marshfield, Kingston, and Plymouth, we can restore the natural beach system processes. Looking holistically at this nearly $4 million regional grant, $4 million, I should say, regional grant award, it will provide the larger regional natural barrier that will benefit the entire bay system to protect multiple towns' infrastructures. The Duxbury Beach Charters expressly states to operate for the benefit of people of Duxbury and the general public. The reservation is proud to be part of the 12% of the state's roughly 1,400-mile-long shoreline that's open to all members of the public. I'd like to thank the people that have worked on these projects hand in hand over the years, including all the folks at Coastal Zone Management, the Woods Hole Group, our regional neighbors, and the many, many volunteers that have collected sediment samples, participated in monitoring effects and planting events, and supported Duxbury Beach. We look forward to continuing this amazing work. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Chris. What a way to round out our program today. I hope, I actually was hoping that it would be a little sunnier and we could all take a field trip, but another time. Thank you all again for coming out. Thank you to our legislators for funding and support. Thank you to the Secretary and EEA and the administration for support of this program. And then from me, thank you to my staff at CZM who have done just a wonderful job supporting this program over the years and making sure that we can get such good programs and projects in the door and funded. So have a great day, and thank you again for coming. Oh, and wait, one more thing. We're going to do a picture. So of all awardees, we're going to go gather up here. Okay. Thank you.